What's up, dudes and dudettes? This is Due Diligence here. Will NIO successfully break out of $45 and ascend finally to the 50s? Well, here are some interesting perspectives that nobody is talking about. Stay tuned, and I promise to you, you won't waste your time. Guys, in the beginning, I talked about if NIO will eventually break up to $50. The answer to that is, of course, in time it will. However, the fact that a lot of Chinese stocks are losing trust in the general market makes a lot of people iffy about the future of NIO. But here's a very interesting perspective. So if you go back and look at NIO's chart back in early 2020, you will see that a lot of institutions actually don't hold the stock. When they actually enter is around this point. Where is my thing? Is around here, which is around June or July 2020, when there's actually a huge announcement by the Chinese government coming out where they are increasing their subsidies for electric vehicles. And it's at this point where a lot of institution people jumping in. And you guys may wonder, why would I bring up such information? Here's why. One of the interesting part about any China related stocks is you have to understand that if you're trading that, you're not trading stocks or you're trading business anymore, you're trading politics. When you're trading politics, things get a little bit more complicated than you thought. And the fact that a lot of institutions has been playing with politics for the past decades, the past century, the past couple of centuries. JP Morgan, the existence of JP Morgan literally is all about how money influences politics. The existence of JP Morgan proved that money can influence politics, right? That's one model of investing. And you have another model of investing where you have the China fund, which indicated that there's a second way of investing as you invest in politics. Politics efficiently influence money. So in here, you have the SSGA fund, adding more position over here. You have a lot of other institutional money just adding up by the end of last week, which means a lot of people are seeing the upwards or the stopping of the downward momentum of NIO translated into upwards momentum of NIO. But why though? Is it because of the charting trending line over here when you go up to the daily chart, the minute chart, the 5-minute chart, the 15-minute chart, the daily chart, where you see, oh my god, this tunneling down motion sort of slows down, and then the probability or if you do a regression line over here, you will find that the acceleration point of downward momentum is slowing down, and then we are almost reaching a zero slope where f prime of x equals 0. Is that the case? Or is that the case that we have a support line actually at $47? A lot of people are talking about whether it's going to break out of $47 or not, and then the new high is going to be over $55. Is that how you or you're using the golden triangle or the golden ratio trying to determine the $47 price line just happened to be on the critical point of the golden ratio on indicator where it breaks over there, everything's going to be fine? Is it because a lot of money are contracting, retracting, and by the end of last week, a lot of money are flooding into a lot of China quote unquote innovative stocks like EV? Is it because the Chinese EV market is going to be the biggest in about 5 years in the entire world? No, it's not that. It's all about politics. It's about the little document that the CCP sent out last Friday, saying that the amount of EV on the market, the quantity, the queue of EV on the market is about to accelerate in the next 2 years. And the government is planning to give out more subsidies for what we call EV dominance. The EV Dominance Act, or it's not really, that's what we call it in the inner circle, it's called EV Dominance Act, but not really. It's more about is about the faster EV transition. Because in the broader spectrum, the entire political goal of EV transition is to slow down what we called a gasoline dependency. Okay? Because a lot of governments are realized that gasoline is about, that the price of gasoline is about to skyrocket over the next couple of decades, because the scarcity rule always applies when a resource is in its final trajectory to not extinction but to depletion. We only have 50 years. So the real reason all the governments are trying to get out of gas is because they don't want to be dependent on a resource that only have 50-year run rate. And a lot of media are catching upon that runway. And when media are catching upon certain trends, that means it's already too late, that you need to get out. But if we ever gonna start a Patreon, if we ever gonna reach like 2K or 3K subs, where number 2 eventually decided, oh my god, yeah, it's time to start a Patreon, then we're gonna post a video on the EV futures, and you realize that the battery market isn't as great. It might even be worse than the gas industry. And in terms of the total energy consumption, is it really better to burn more stuff to make batteries? Is it? Is it really? But anyways, this is a stock analysis for NIO, right? It has nothing to do with the EV future or battery future, even though NIO is in the electric vehicle sector. But in reality, NIO is more like Lucid. Okay, NIO is like Lucid, where it's sort of targeting the high-end market, and right now they're trying to go to the low-end market, which what Tesla is at. And for those of you who are like, oh, is Tesla really low-end market? Yeah, it is. If you look at the average price of a Tesla, and with a lot of EV rebate and with a lot of like EV subsidies going on in China, in the US, not so much anymore. But the new Biden EV bill, or the new energy bill is coming out, I would imagine that Tesla can go back to the old business model where they're gonna sell their EV their credits, their what we call clean energy credits to other companies more now. So NIO is the equivalent of Lucid. And if you're in an inner cycle where some people have the privileged information of being in certain private clubs, which is called EP4. Actually, let's erase that, because I'm not supposed to tell you guys about a lot of these final secret clubs where they talk about certain futures of certain industry, and that is exclusive for NIO. And if you look at who is in that club, there are a lot of rich people in there, and they have a huge holding in this company. And just from the fundamental analysis of the charts, you want to know that right now it's a pivot point for NIO. If it goes down, if it go back down to under $40, and you will see that there's a huge support line around $40 over here, okay? Then the stock is gonna trade stagnant for the next couple of months. But the fact that it's so vibrant and it provides such liquidity to go up over $42, that means the entire trend of people believing in NIO, or they just wanna, or just it's gonna be another wave of FOMO because of the politics coming out in China, and NIO's upward momentum is gonna pile up. Anyways, I think this is it for this video for NIO. And if you guys haven't subbed yet, just go sub to our channel, because I don't think any other YouTubers have this kind of insight in a lot of these Chinese stocks. And I don't really know whether we're gonna pivot into dipping our shoes into a lot of Chinese stocks. I don't want to get in trouble. The fact that I have a lot of interesting information in the Chinese market might prove to be super valuable on YouTube. But by talking about a lot of these taboo stuff, the politics stuff, I don't want to get myself in trouble. So this is one of those videos where, we have to think about what we're going to do in the future for our channels. If you haven't liked this video, also go smash the like button, because you're going to make money on our content. Alright, see you guys on the upside. So will we see green tomorrow morning at market open? Yeah, 70% of the chance it will happen, and just sort of it's dependent on how everything's trading pre-market and how the VIX is performing. And a lot of people are like, oh my god, Didi, can you just get to your point and tell us that? But would I just tell you that any price movement will happen in the next few hours would help you make an informed decision on whether you should invest in something? Really? Does that really help you? Or in other words, in a short term or long term gain sort of, a model or methodology or situation, would it really help you to make money anyways? Because even if I tell you that, in the morning it's gonna go up by X percentage and so you're gonna see the morning wood, but would it have a pullback? Would a pullback in a mid market make you feel sad? Or we might get lucky, everything will just go up and high and maybe go up by about 15% or 12%, which is highly unlikely, by the way. It's really depending on the volume trading tomorrow. And you'll be like, oh my god, you're so right. But that wouldn't help you at all. It wouldn't help me either. Because in the longer term, if we cannot have a proper anchor of why we're entering the trade or why we do have an edge in the trade, it doesn't matter how much money you're gonna make, because at the end of the day, you're just gonna lose it. And what's the whole point of losing your kid's college fund or just losing everything, right? Alright, this is it for this video. Thank you so much for listening to the end anyways. For those of you who just skipped to the end, well, sucks for you guys.